All right, welcome, Mr. Hassan Joseph. Okay, you are definitely what we call an influencer on the run. Welcome to our show. It is lovely to have you on. How are you this morning?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing? Thank you so much, first of all, for inviting me onto your fabulous show. It's bright and early, as uh, as you know. If you wake up before the chickens, you're more hungry. If you wake up with the chickens, you ain't that hungry.
Mm, mm, mm. So I want you before we begin, tell us about your morning so far. What's been up? What time do you wake up? What's going on with you this morning?
So I usually wake up around 5 o'clock in the morning, and I like to get my day started early. Why is that? Is because when I wake up before other people wake up, I feel like I'm ahead of the game. So I try to be consistent in being ahead of the game. I like to get my day started off with a cup of coffee. Um, After my prayers, I go out for a morning run, a short little exercise, read a book, look at my schedule, see what's up for the day, and I just get going from there.
Mm. I want to ask you a lot of stuff. Okay, a lot of stuff. But for those you don't know, we've known each other personally. Okay, and I haven't seen you. I think it's been like a year and a half now since I haven't seen you. Okay, and in that time I haven't seen you, you have been a busy, successful, productive brother. Okay, recently I believe you were the first foreigner and the first American to participate in the Saudi Camel Beauty Pageant. Is this correct?
Yes, I was or am the first American to participate, but not foreigner. There were three others that participated. There was a Russian, I believe an Italian, and maybe a French or German.
Okay.
And but my participation wasn't like their participation. The pandemic has caused a great influence in how people participate or interact with each other these days. Now, for me, I'm a face to face type of person. So I didn't, zoom it up with my camels. I was live with them. I was in the heat out there with the people. And, the people took that to the heart. They liked that.
Mm, mm, And so, yes, for those listening right now, I would definitely go to Hassan's Instagram where you can see the videos where he's talking about that. So, but let's go before you participated inside of this event. This is a big event, and I don't think people
Mhm.
outside of Arabia know how big it is. Okay, so let's talk about what gave you the insight or the idea to get into that field in that area?
Well, to be honest, during the lockdown, I had a lot of time to think about what else should I do with my life. The world is open, however, we were shut down at the same time, but my mind wasn't shut down. So I actually became a critical thinker because now I found and had the time to think, what else can I do? I'm a type of person that likes to get my hand on everything. I like to touch all the pies. And I'm hungry. I don't just have an appetite. Like I'm hungry for success. So me being the personality of just being hungry to try everything. At first, I had some money. I said, all right, let me try to open up a cafe because that was like the thing out here in Saudi Arabia. Cafes are, it's a lucrative business. And it's not just like, some ordinary cafes that people are opening up. It's like specialty coffee. There's research done. People are looking for the finest beans, the finest of everything, decor. They go all out. So I like to compete with that.
Mm,
So initially, I was going to make an investment and try to, you know, start a cafe. And one of my mentors, Saudi mentors, he said, Hassan, if you want to do some, if you want to be successful here in Saudi Arabia, do something more extraordinary. I was like what? He said, why don't you engage in with the camels? Buy a camel and take care of one. Groom them, uh, use them for mating, and you can just, get into the business of buying and selling because camels are, major assets here. It's like a stock, it's like property. They're expensive, and you can make a lot of money. So I said, well, all right, let me take that into consideration. So I consulted with other people, and most of the people I consulted with were against it. They're like, it's an animal, it can die. It's like buying a cat or a dog, except, these giants are worth a lot more money. So I went to Hessa, city about 2 hours east of Riyadh, going towards Dammam. And one of my friends out there introduced me to the camel racing, and I became interested in that. I used to be a track athlete back in high school and in college. I was actually ranked number 22 in the 100 in the state of California and number 28 in the 200. So
Talk
seeing
that
camel,
talk.
huh?
I said, talk that talk.
Oh
Talk
yeah,
that
oh yeah.
talk.
I in the 100, I my fastest time was a 10:9, and in the 200 it was like a 22.1 or something like that. In my 40-yard dash, my fastest time was a 4:3. So I was fast. I love track. I love running. So watching these camels run brought me back into my days, history. So I'm like, man, all right, this is what I'm talking about. This is a physical sport. And it's it's fun to watch camels running, racing. So I said, how much would this cost? 50,000 reals for small baby camel, uh, and it will take some time to train. But if you want one that's ready, you're looking at about between 200 to 500,000. So well, I don't have that. But he's like, look, we can help you gather your resources. We'll look for something for you. So it took about a month, and we couldn't find anything. Then one of my other friends contacted me and said, "Hey, would you like to participate in the camel beauty pageant?" I'm like, "There's a beauty pageant with camels? They all look the same, right? What do you mean a beauty?" He was like, "No, no, no, no. They're different." So then he took me out to his farm, and he had some camels uh, that have the characteristics and beauty. Um, and then he started taking me to different uh, villages where people had camels that possessed the beauty features and stuff like that. And then after explaining to me how lucrative this business was, he said, "Look, we can get you something. This is how much it's going to cost. Um, jump in the King Abdulaziz Camel Festival, participate, compete with this camel, and you might come out victorious."
Okay. Now
So when
let's
he said that, yeah,
Go ahead.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead. No, go
No,
ahead.
no, go
Go.
ahead, go ahead.
Okay. So before we get into that part, let's talk about beauty features of the camels. Okay. Because
Mhm.
like for you, learning that aspect of the beauty part. Okay. So tell us about that, learning the different features of what's beautiful on a camel.
It's pretty simple. You have to assess the lips, right? So they have to have big lips, long hanging type of lips. That's one of like the biggest features that they look at is the lips. The length of the neck, it must be long. Their legs also, it must be long. Their backside, it has to be like flat. Um, their ears, it has to be pointy and then like hanging back as well. Almost kind of like when you see a dog running, and I think what kind of dog is that? Rottweiler, one of them dogs that that has the pointy ears. So they have to have those pointy ears type of feature. Um, so these are like the main characteristics that they look at. And then you
Got
have
you.
different colors also. You have like the
Mm,
red color in Arabic, they call it the hamra, humr. And then you have the white color, they call it wudah. And then you have sufr, which is like a yellowish type of color, majaheen, black. So
got you.
yeah,
So you were now back to saying that your friend said to participate in the festival.
yes. So they said participate in the festival and you might come out victorious. So this is actually initially where the name, where I decided to name this camel Victoria, was from when he said, you might come out to be victorious. I said, okay, let's look for this camel. So we found one, named her Victoria. We entered into the King Abdulaziz Camel Festival. And then he said, Hassan, now you need to make a video and challenge all the other participants. I said, that wasn't a conversation. All you said was buy a camel, enter it into the competition. And I'm thinking it's kind of like the Miss America USA pageant where you just, have them up on the stage and they look, but it wasn't like that. He was like, you have to challenge the participants. I said, well, this sounds kind of arrogant because I don't know anybody. He was like, it's okay. It's okay. They're going to like that. I said, brother, I don't want to be like, this arrogant guy that's just, he's American. He's coming in, he's talking stuff, blah, 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 blah. And he doesn't even know anybody. He said, just trust me. I said, look, since we kept going back and forth, I said, the only way I'll like agree to what you said, if we go back to the elders were like, they call them Shiban. They're like in their late 60s, 70s, people that are wise. Because I know they won't lead me astray. I'm not saying that my man Faisal was going to lead me astray, but I said, let's go to them. Whatever they say, I accept. So we went to the elders out in the desert, an hour away. We sat down with them, and the guy was like, Allah, Allah. Yes, yes, yes. Hassan, you need to challenge them. Just be yourself, challenge them. They will like that. These are my people, Hassan. They will love you. They will welcome you. Don't worry about anything. Just be you and give them a nice, hard challenge. I said, all right. Next week, we went back to the festival arena, and it was Saturday night. We set camp about maybe 5 kilometers outside of the arena of the festival. It's expensive to set up inside, by the way. So I'm like out of resources. This camel cost an arm and a leg. I had to pay like an additional, 6,000 or something like that. That's just to register, the food, equipment. There's a lot of stuff involved. So I'm like, on E with my finances. And we're set up outside the main arena where most, if not all, the participants are inside the festival with nice tents and everything. So there was a feeling of, embarrassment. Faisal's like, Hassan, don't worry about anything. Risk min Allah. I said, all right. We go into the festival and we find a tent, a camp, someone's camp. Faisal goes to the doorman and says, "Look, we just want to record a quick, 1 minute video. Hassan wants to challenge the participants, and we'll be out." And the guy's like, "Where is he from?" He's like, "He's American. He's the first American to participate." He's like, "Welcome, welcome, man. Come do it. It's okay." So I made that first video where I said, "There's a new sheriff in town, and her name is Victoria, and she's about to take over." And then I called out everybody from the president of the Abdulaziz Camel Festival, Sheikh Fahad bin Hathlain, who's the uncle of the crown prince. I called him out first. I had never done that in my life. That's like, you don't do that. Right. And then I called out the other participants and I said, I'm coming, watch out. So that was like a 1 minute video. We left. And as soon as we rolled out, Faisal posted it, sent it to some people. I don't know anybody. All I know is me and Faisal. He gets a phone call from someone. His name is Ziad bin Nahid. He was like, "Are you guys in the arena?" He was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Bring Hassan and come to my camp right now." He was like, "Okay." He's like, Hassan, this guy named Ziad called, man. You need to come right. We're going to this camp. I'm like, "Who is Ziad?" He's like, he's a famous uh, influencer in the kingdom. I'm like, "I've never heard of him." He was like, "Just come, you'll see." So we pull up to Ziad's camp, and he receives us. Nice guy. He's a gentleman, tall, uh, intelligent, sophisticated, a go-getter. You know, he got all his ducks in order. Colorful, cheerful, and humorous character. So we sit down, and he makes a snap, and he introduces me to his snap audience. And by the time we finish making these snaps and stuff, a facial whispers in my ear. He goes, "By the way, he has over 2 million followers on Snapchat, over 2 million on Instagram. Um, he's a top level influencer." I'm like, "Man, mashallah." I'm like, thank you, Mr. Ziad. Thank you for introducing me to the community, and welcoming me and hosting me. It's such an honor. I really appreciate that. He didn't have to do that. He was just so kind enough to just do that within 15 minutes of that first video. Now, come to find out, he's in my cohort, so I'm competing against him. And he didn't even mention that we're competitors, but he knew beforehand. I didn't even know. So I appreciate that type of kindness. That was a nice gesture. So he knew we're competing against each other, but he hosted me and treated me like, we were like brothers, and not like, you know, enemies trying to compete in a friendly way, basically. So it was all love in the beginning. So from Ziad, then the camp that we made that first video from, somehow, I don't know how everybody gets Face's number, but he was just getting phone calls just every second. His phone was ringing. Someone called him and said, "Hey, you made a video at my camp." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Come back to my camp." I'm thinking we're about to get in trouble. We go back to the camp, and the guy was just like, "Are you you're the American who made this video?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Welcome. Where's your camp, Hassan?" I was like, uh, we're here. We're around." Trying not to embarrass myself. It's like everybody there is money. And I'm like honey with no money. He's like, "Hassan, let me show you your new camp." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Just follow me." We get in the car and we drive, and he takes us to this area. Like, it's the one of the largest areas in the camp. It had like maybe 15 tents. And he's like, "This is for you. Go bring Victoria, bring all of your equipment, bring whatever you got, your entourage. You guys set shop there. This is where you're staying for the whole entire duration of the festival. You're not paying anything. This is your home. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome to the King Abdulaziz Camel Festival."
Mm.
I'm like, "What? I just met this guy. He's giving me land, property, and this stuff is not worth like, like 5, 10,000 reals. This is like hundreds of thousands, if not millions, property. Who does that? How could you just go to a place and someone gives you an entire, landmass, uh, the best of the best that they got, and say, you set shop there, do whatever you got to do, peace out. Whatever you need, holler at me." His name is Bandar Al Harbi. That's what he did.
بندر الحرب يا شيخ.
I was like, man, I couldn't believe it. All this that just, these profound gestures of kindness from Ziad, Bender, to this person, to that person, it just kept adding up. It wouldn't stop. I was
Gotcha.
actually confused. Didn't make sense. But this is just the hearts of the Arab Saudi people. They're just that nice, man. You can't understand it. It's not something you
Absolutely.
can understand.
Absolutely. So tell us, okay, so this happens, first,
Mm.
you make that video basically, I would say that video is kind of like the MMA videos when Craig McGregor and Floyd Mayweather go out there and talk their talk, basically. And then, so you were like, I don't know, I don't want to go out here and be like, yo, you know, but they will convince you, the elders convince you, and you do that video, and then boom, the video goes and everybody's calling you. Okay. And so I want to talk about a specific video. Okay. And this is a video on his Instagram, people. His Instagram is HASSANMYUSUF. Okay. And there's a video with you and Victoria. Okay. And the entourage of people, Victoria's entourage. Okay. When is this day?
This is the day of the festival. I believe this was Sunday morning or Monday morning at 7 or 8 a.m. Actually, it's funny. Um, the night before, we were in a situation where I didn't even know if we were even going to be able to compete. The night before, we received a phone call. Did Victoria get her? Did she do the COVID-19 test? We're like, she's supposed to do a COVID-19 test. Uh, Me and Faisal are
Wow.
going crazy. Like, what? So there are a number of things that we didn't know that we needed to do. So this is like at 9 o'clock. I said, Faisal, what time does this festival start? The competition? He's like 7 a.m., 6, 7 a.m. Less than 12 hours. So immediately we hop in Faisal's car and we drive out to the Ministry of Health facility. And, we informed them, we were like, look, we didn't know that we're supposed to do a COVID-19 test for Victoria, blah, 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 blah. They give us somebody's number. He's supposed to be he's a prominent doctor in the area. And he calls us and he says, we gave him a missed call. He calls us back. He gave us his location. We drive up to him. He's like, we'll take care of it. I'll send out the physician's nurse, send me the location of your camp, and we'll get this done. Don't worry. The doctors and the physicians come. Victoria is not having it. She's agitated. The physician said, there's no way we could do a COVID-19 test, do anything, because she's just not having it. She's not happy right now. Now,
Hmm.
usually Victoria's a happy camel. Like it's a female. She's a people's person. But just that night, I don't know, man. Something was just up with her. And Faisal was just like, look, Hassan, you just go off, go to sleep. By the time you wake up, everything will be taken care of. I couldn't go to sleep. Faisal is going back and forth, leaving the camp, coming back, leaving, coming back. And I can see he's going crazy. The doctors keep leaving and coming back. And I'm thinking now something is wrong with Victoria. They load her onto a truck, leave with her, bring her back like 2 times. And now it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, bro, what's going on, man? He's like, yeah, we're not able to do it yet. Like, um, we're like 4 hours away, man. Like nothing is done yet. He's like, just don't worry, man. It will be taken care of. Go back to sleep. So it's 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning. Um, I woke up and alhamdulillah, it was done. The next step was to get the approval. Now we need the signatures, the stamps, all this stuff. So we like rushed to the Ministry of Health facility and last minute, signed, stamp, done, as Victoria was already on her way. So we actually met up with them like halfway as the entourage was just building up. That was a scary moment.
Mm, mm. I can imagine. I can
Yeah,
imagine. I can imagine. I love it. I love what you're giving us, brother. I love what you're giving us. So, as you meet up with the entourage, okay, you're going through a stressful night, basically the storm, before the calm, basically. I would say it's the storm
yeah,
before the calm. Okay.
yep.
And you're like, okay, you make it there. You now tell us when you enter the entourage and the cameras come out and the people greet you. Tell us what was going through your head.
So we pulled up in Faisal's car next to Victoria, and just in a blink of an eye, you just see an array of vehicles, trucks, 4x4s, just cars, and then people just like rushing up to us. And it was like from 15 people to like 50 people to like 100 to like, I'm like, man, where are they coming from? Not we're in the middle of the desert. And it's just people are just swarming around the car. Victoria, everyone is chanting for her, they're chanting for us. And I'm shocked because I'm just like, you know, everyone is supporting us. No one was there to give the eye, if you know what I'm talking about, the eye of the tiger. Everyone was there to support. All I heard was, we love you. We appreciate you. You made history in our country, first American to participate. Like, the way they looked at me was like, they looked at me as like a brother, um, a celebrity, an influential figure, a positive impact maker, social change maker. Um, and I'm just shocked that they would look at me like that, because I never perceived myself to be those glorious titles that they kept, giving me. I just call myself a humanitarian because I love doing humanitarian work, uh, or an educator because I'm an educator, or an entrepreneur because I can be an entrepreneur also. But that's it. Uh, so the people gathered, and it's just all love, as you see in the video. People with their phones, they want to take selfies. They want me to say, what I think about Saudi Arabia, what I think about the festival. So, I'm expressing my love for them, my love for the festival. I'm expressing my appreciation to Sheikh Fahad bin Flame, the uncle's the crown prince's uncle, the crown prince, all the participants, and everybody basically from A to Z. And this is just basically all the way up to the main gate of the festival. So it's like, you walk, or yeah, you escort your camel to the gate. And there's a certain number of kilometers that you cover. Could be like 1 or 2 kilometers, depending on
Mm,
where your camp is and where you start. But
mm,
for us, it was about maybe 2 kilometers.
mm,
So we
mm.
ride up there, and it's just, all police, security, top level, you know, security, and they're just so nice, saluting me, smiling, thanking
Got
me.
you.
And I'm like, man, this is police. Wow. You know, I met so many people, profound, titles. I don't remember them, but I remember them saying, I'm CEO of this, I'm this, I'm that. Thank you, welcome, Mr. Hassan. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for your participation. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Mm, mm.
Now we go all the way inside. This is where the trash talking started. the real, the real challenge. The real Jordan versus Larry Bird versus Mike Magic Johnson talk. I met up with Naif Abdul Muhsin Al Rajhi, CEO of one of the divisions or departments of the Al Rajhi Bank. I don't even know this. I just met this guy. And the first thing he says to me was, Hassan, you see all these camels here? I'm like, yeah. He was just like, you really think Victoria is going to be victorious? You just have one. We got so many. I was
mm,
like, yeah, but guess what?
mm,
Victoria touched so many hearts.
mm,
And he shook my hand and hugged me. It was just like, welcome to the King Abdulaziz Camel Festival. Welcome to Saudi Arabia. This is your home. This is your home.
mm, mm,
And I'm like, man, that was real love. And I met all the competitors, Abdullah ibn Oda, al who actually won first, second, third, and fourth place.
mm, mm,
Never could experience someone winning first, second, third, and fourth place in history in a
mm,
competition.
mm.
Usually you just win first or second, but this guy took all four because he had a lot of camels with him. And then Raji took fifth place.
Got you.
Me and Ziad didn't win anything. We didn't take any place. Actually, Ziad kept making fun of me from the beginning. He was like, "Do you know what Al-Munshariha means?" I'm like, "No, what does that mean?" It basically means like the losers valley type of thing. He's like, "Well, this is where you're going to be." All right. Well, we didn't end up in the losers valley. We ended up in the valley of the hearts.
Mm, 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 mm.
But this was like beautiful, beautiful trash talking. I don't want to
But
call it
indeed,
trash talking, but
indeed, it's
words of
competitiveness,
yeah, competitive talk. Yeah.
competitiveness. So let's go in there. So you win the festival, so you participate in, and like you said that there are other foreigners participating in there. Okay. But you're saying that, you were there with your camel. Okay. And you saw the people and the people saw you. And that's what made it, you think, as big. So now let's talk about, okay, so it's done, you didn't win, but, you were there and you added excitement, let's say, to the festival.
Hmm.
You are part of, let's say, the 2030 vision of more people participating inside of Saudi culture, adding that awareness to it, and that buzz. Okay, so the festival is finished. Okay, let's talk about the press run you've been on. Okay, who were the first people to cover you in that situation, and how was it?
Man, I I can't remember the first interview I had because it started from the night before,
Mm,
and I just when I pulled up to the festival, there were like maybe 20 news channel stations, and they all just like rushed up to me, questions like you know. So I don't remember, but what I remember, I did
that's a good diplomatic answer. That's a
the
good diplomatic answer right there. That's a good diplomatic answer. You know what I'm saying?
well,
That's
okay.
like, I don't remember exactly
They
which
were
one, but they were all there waiting for me.
they were all there. They were all there. All of them were there, and I did interviews with maybe every single station you could imagine or know of, and that represents the kingdom.
Got you.
And also in the entire GCC, NBC was there. We did a uh, uh, live interview with them. Al Akhbariya, Sahara, um, the festival Majlis Al Siyahid. Actually, that was probably the one that I was most nervous about. Majlis Siyahid. Before the interview, the host came up to me and said, "Hassan, they're watching you. Bring your A game." And I looked at him and I said, "Man, all I have is an A game. That's all I got. I don't have a B game. I don't have a C game. All I've been raised to just have an A game."
Mm, mm,
And he liked my answer. The interview went fabulous. It was beautiful. I loved the questions he asked me. I felt comfortable answering them. They brought a translator, the a distinguished, senior, experienced, top level, big shot I'm giving him all the big names I could think of. This guy was the translator for Obama when he came and made his official visit to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia when he met King Salman. He was the official translator for Trump. He was the official translator for all the heads of states, anyone, that's a diplomat, head of state that would come and visit the king. He was the official translator. They brought him for me. I felt honored by that,
Mm.
they would do something like that. And it was an honor meeting him as well.
Got you. Got you. So, you know, you participated as the first American in the Saudi and the Saudi Camel beauty pageant. You have opened doors, what I'm saying, in this avenue. Okay. And you said, you was going on what I'm saying, investing in it. Okay. And as an entrepreneur, you were taking that risk. And now, as an entrepreneur, do you feel like this is one of your biggest risks that you ever taken as an entrepreneur?
Yes, definitely. It is the biggest uh, investment I've ever made in my life because it was a life changing investment. Um, and for me, by the middle of the festival, I didn't care whether to make money or not. What became more important to me was now just being uh, a positive impact, a personality that could represent the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia as a positive influencer, uh, an American that can represent the United States of America as a humanitarian that could represent humanity and spread love and say, hey, look, countries can come together, people can come together, and they could compete, they could interact, they could mingle, they could sit across the table. We could be diplomatic, we could be athletes, we could be entrepreneurs, we could be whatever, and look at each other as humans, not as black or white, not as American, not as a Saudi, not as Iraqi, not as Syrian, not as African, but as humans. And that's what I felt in the festival. Now I
Got you.
know you might hear the whole thing about American da da da, but it wasn't just that. It was appreciation that I wasn't again the only international participant. They appreciated all the international participants. There was a guy from Iraq. We received a personal invitation. Uh, yeah, I can't mention the name, but we went there and we sat with his people, and you can see it's international collaboration.
Mm, mm.
So it's not just American or this or that. It's humanitarian. It's everyone is seen as an equal.
Got you. Got you. Quickly, let's take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back, listeners. Back from the commercial break. So now, as an entrepreneur, okay, as an entrepreneur, what did you learn from before the festival to now the festival? What have you learned as an entrepreneur? You said this was the biggest investment you've ever taken. Now let's go. Yes, we understand, from the humanitarian side, we got you. And let's talk from the entrepreneur side of Mr. Hassan. Give it to us.
Well, This was a profound experience, a learning experience. And as an entrepreneur, you should do your ultimate best to put yourself on a trajectory where you could gain experience, challenge yourself, and learn from your mistakes. So, this festival, my participation, my interaction, meeting people from all walks of life, all types of professions, I polished my public speaking skills. I had to go back to the drawing board and learn how to uh, interact diplomatically. I had to learn how to make diplomatic statements. I had to learn how to manage my time management, organizational management. I had to learn how to deal with all types of people, people that would be happy with you and people that would not be happy with you. I had to learn how to deal with criticism because there were some critics. Uh, there were some critics outside of Saudi Arabia, people criticizing me for my participation. And I had to learn how to respond and not react. I had to learn how to be social because now this participation made me famous. I wasn't famous before. So now I have to learn how to interact globally. I had to learn how to interact, like intimately with people professionally or professionally intimately, however you want to phrase it. But I had to learn that.
Mm, mm.
Um, at the same time, what many people don't know, I was a student. I am a student at Harvard, majoring in English. That was my first semester. So, alhamdulillah, I completed that semester with an A in one of my classes and a B plus in one of my other classes. So time management was huge. So these were like the biggest takeaways from my experience um, as an entrepreneur participating in the King Abdulaziz Camel Festival. And
Got you.
also, the last thing I want to say, don't be afraid of taking risks, but make calculated or strategic risks, not
Mm,
just a risk where you just jump into an ocean that you can't swim in.
mm.
Um, that's how I saw it in the beginning. But when I reevaluated the entire spectrum, I weighed it out on a scale in my mind, my own scale. It's something that I saw that I have the potential to, come out and become something. But it wasn't what
Absolutely.
I expected. I didn't expect fame. I was expecting, financial growth.
Mm,
But I would take the love over that.
mm, mm, mm. So now let's talk about the brand, okay? Because that's a very big part of it. And I'm sure you've seen that even more yourself, you were
Mm,
like you said, like you said, you were like, I don't know about this. I don't know about the trash talking. This is a big investment, and you said, hey, but let's talk about before we go anywhere, before we go into branding per se, let's talk about your Saudi mentors and let's talk about your friend Faisal who convinced you. Okay. Because I think this is a very important area that we need to talk about. Okay. So let's talk about that. Your friend, your mentor who brought you into this game. Okay.
sure.
So let's talk about
So
him.
I'm just gonna go way back and then fast forward into this time. Back in 2010, after I tore my ACL, I was going through depression. I used to play college football,
Mm,
and I was at a point in my life where I just hit rock bottom. And alhamdulillah, I was blessed and fortunate to still have a stable mind to reach out to people that could add benefit, add value to my life. So I became well acquainted with a prominent chef who became a mentor into my life. And the best advice that he has ever given me was, Hassan, if you want to be successful, you need to surround yourself by people 3 times your age. Uh, make them more of your friends than the people your age. I'm not saying don't have friends, people your age, but make your friends people my age in their late 50s, 60s, 70s, because they can do for you what your friends can't do. They have experience which your friends don't have. They can guide you, they can help you in ways that people your age will not be able to help you. And I took that to heart, and it was true. So from the moment he said that, I changed my friends, which changed my life. Most of my friends were people like my father's age. Obviously, my father being one of them, but his friends. So I would find myself always hanging out with my father's friends all the way up until I moved to Riyadh. I made friends with people that you could say is Abu so and so, and he's just about to retire, or he's retired. So I sit with them and they share their experiences, knowledge, give me words of wisdom. So this helped shape my personality, my thinking, uh, and Faisal, Qahtani, Sultan al Ruwaili, among others, they are the ones in my age group, and they have the same thinking that I have. We kind of share the same values. Um, so my relationship with them was tight because they're always sitting with, in Arabic, they call them shiban, elders. So they're taking from them, and they're actually passing down what they take from them, and they're passing it on over to me, basically. So this is how our relationship kind of, started. And Faisal inviting me over to, his family's camps, introducing me to the nomadic lifestyle. I don't like to use the word Bedouin, but I feel like nomadic is more appropriate to use. Um, the camels and you know just everything about the Saudi culture, I really learned through Faisal and Sultan.
Got you. Got you. So we must definitely shout out to Faisal, you know what I'm saying? Because like I saw a video where like you're outside the car, and I felt like Faisal was like, go up there, you know what I'm saying? Go up there, enjoy the
Yeah.
moment, you know what I'm saying? Give the people what
Yes.
they need, you know. So, but let's go back to branding. Okay. Now, you have participated, so you took that leap, you went through a storm before the show, going through a lot of different stuff, you know outside the festival to coming inside the festival to entourage to the Saudi police showing you love, to different people showing you love. Now let's talk about the Hassan brand. Okay. So you're getting all of this press. People are knowing you. You're getting introduced to the community. You're meeting figures, And so let's talk about branding. Let's talk about the mindset of your brand and your end goal now that post, post the festival, post the press. What is going on now with your brand?
So before all of this, my brand was an educator, entrepreneur. I'm a classy person, elegant, and I love being social, uh, but in a professional way. I was never a hee hee ha ha type of person. I can be, but it's just not my personality to be like this super funny guy. I don't want to be a comedian. Now, from the festival and then going post the festival, a lot of people saw me as this comedian. And some people try to make me and brand me as a comedian. And they try to do their ultimate best to actually like kind of make this label like, look, man, you're a funny guy, just be funny. And okay, I can be, but that's not what I want to be. And I don't want to be funny because you want me to be funny. That's not, I don't want to just carry a personality of just being funny and that's it. Kevin Hart can do that. That's his brand. He's a comedian. But that's not me. That's not the walk that I want to walk. That's not the run that I want to run. What I want to do is be a social impact change maker. I want to uh, contribute to the goodness of humanity. I want to add value to people's lives professionally. I want to help change people's lives. I want to bring joy and happiness and create opportunities for people because people help me create opportunities for myself. So I want to give back to society and do that. I don't want to be a comedian. So I found myself challenged trying to fight that barrier. And alhamdulillah, I broke it now. So that's kind of like out of the window. Some people still try, but now this goes back to experience. Now I learned how to kind of draw that red tape, put up the brick wall and say, look, okay, you taught me some funny words, but it stops there. Now I'm back on my trajectory, on my true north, and that's the direction that I'm headed. So the
Gotcha.
brand that I am now, Hassan Joseph, still Hassan Yusuf, but just a different last name, Joseph, uh, is a social influencer, professional, elegant, classy, impact maker. That's what I can say.
Got you. Got you. And so, what things have been helping you? So we see you've been on definitely on the social media front. Okay, so I'll definitely see the
Mhm.
Instagram. So let's talk the social media side of your brand and of use. Now we know the Middle East, specifically Saudi. For those that don't know, Snapchat is one of the biggest applications there. I would say, what would you say are the top five social media from the top to down that are being used inside of Saudi Arabia?
Number one for sure, Snapchat or YouTube. I would put YouTube and Snapchat as a tie, uh, and maybe now even TikTok. TikTok is up there, three-way tie. But if I really had to say number one, I would say Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. Instagram used to be way up there, but I kind of see it just kind of dropping down as new social media uh, communication tools are being introduced. Like Clubhouse is a new one. So a lot of Saudi people are, logging onto Clubhouse, taking advantage of the opportunity of, brushing up on their public speaking skills, voicing out, whatever they wish that they, want to freely talk about. Um,
Got you.
yeah.
But still give us the top five. Top five. We need top five in Saudi. You gave us three. We need five.
So number one, Snapchat. Number two, TikTok. Number three, YouTube. Number four, I would say Clubhouse. Number five, Instagram.
Mm, Interesting. Interesting. Interesting.
Clubhouse is taking over.
Okay. Okay. Now, as someone, so let's talk Snapchat. Okay. And I noticed that you take a lot of your stuff on Snap. You do it on Snap
Mhm.
first, then you take it to Instagram. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, no, you forget I used to live there, so I understand. I
Yeah.
understand. Now, let's say, do you feel people can find you and interact with you on a lasting level and the value you put it? Because Snapchat is there 24 hours. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Instagram can be a long period of time until you either delete it or they block you or they delete it themselves. So how do you gauge that per se?
So It's funny. Way back in the days when we used to watch TV and you would have these commercial breaks. That was TV back in the days. Now Snapchat is like that. Snapchat and the commercials are like, I can't even explain it to you. The Snapchat owners or executive team, highly intelligent people, are highly intelligent people. They know how to monetize and create the platform for themselves and others to be able to monetize and take advantage of becoming rich. So I'll give you an example. Back in the days, Snapchat didn't exist. You would see a Domino's commercial after a show or something like that, right? Everybody's watching TV. Now, here in Saudi Arabia, people watch TV, but they don't watch the TV that we used to watch. They're watching Snapchat. So now you would find someone like Ziad bin Nahid or famous people doing Domino's commercials on Snapchat, not TV, because Snapchat took over that vibe. Most people, and this is just my personal opinion, on Snapchat. Snapchat is like the new TV.
In your region.
They're in this region,
Yes.
in this region, they're
Gotcha.
watching people's daily lives, daily activities,
Gotcha.
routines. They're like, so like, for example, you could be following me from sunrise to sunset,
Yeah, I do need to follow
and
you actually on
in
Snapchat. I
between,
do. I do need to follow you on
in
Snapchat.
between all of that, I
And
would do
as we're
a
on there,
commercial, a paid advertisement for a cafe or something like that.
so you've been doing commercials yourself.
Yes,
Okay.
advertisements.
Oh, so you have been. Okay. Okay, that's great. Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. Oh, I want to talk about that. But before we talk about that, for
Yeah,
those of who are listening, what is your Snapchat username?
Snapchat username is
If
the
is it
same
public?
as my Instagram. It's public.
Okay.
It's, I have a public
Okay.
profile. It's
Okay.
Hassan Hassan and then Yusuf. Hassan M Yusuf.
Okay. I see you. I see you.
Public profile.
Got the Arabic name on there as well with the American
Yes.
flag. I see you,
Hmm.
brother. I see you. I see you. One second. One second. Okay. So that's actually good. Could you be the first person we talk about that actually? If would you like to go into talk advertising on Snapchat? You know what I'm saying? Would you like to go into that? Well, I'm sure our listeners would definitely love to hear about that. Are you
Well, it's not that I would like to. I'm into it already.
okay? Okay. Okay. No, no, no. I know you're no, no. Yes, I know you're into it already, but I'm saying like let's go into that. So okay, now yes, for those of you who are around the world, listening around the world, Snapchat is, I would say, the biggest application in Saudi Arabia. Okay, after Twitter. Okay, for communication wise and for what he said. Yes, YouTube and Instagram are, sorry, YouTube and TikTok, yes, are there. But I would say in the Arab, especially Saudi Arabia, you have Snapchat is number one. Okay,
Hmm.
number one, no doubt about it. Okay, for those of you who are listening who are not inside of the Middle East and who are overseas, Snapchat is the one. Now, we were in the branding era, okay, and so we're in the branding segment, and we're gonna still borderline the branding segment and then monetizing as well. So before we go to the monetization part, okay, you what now? Snapchat is part of the way you brand, okay.
Yep.
Instagram is part of the way you brand on the social media level, okay. Now before we
Right.
go to other branding outside of social media, let's talk about what other platforms are you using for your brand?
Uh, Other than Snapchat and Instagram, I just started using TikTok,
Okay.
and I'm actually just about to launch my YouTube channel probably within the next 2 weeks, right before Ramadan.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so yeah,
Okay. Now, in that area of launching the dealing with these social medias, and I'm sure you have been around people, like you said, famous influencers, famous people who are in that content level. Now, do you feel that you will need a small team to help you create quality content for your brand per
yes, I do
se?
feel like I'm for sure. I do feel like I need a team because I'm new into this game, into this venture. Uh, I have never in my life imagined that I would be on social media the way that I am now. Um, and to be honest, uh, I never even saw it as like, you know, a money game changer, innovation type of platform. But that was because I was, I guess you could say, naive.
Hmm.
But now I see you
I
could
would say
become
the
rich
better word
overnight.
is, I think the better word is weren't educated in how it's
When
possible.
educated, yeah, yeah, that's the
Yeah,
better way of saying it. Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Because
So,
people were telling me to get on it, but I just never listened.
mm, mm, mm. Now, okay, before we go into monetization part, what about branding outside of social media? Because I think that's an area people forget about sometimes. Okay, because social media can die. One, it could just
Mhm.
disappear. So you have been in newspapers. Okay. Now, do you have the copy of the newspaper that you were into? Do you have that one sitting at home and like, every now and then you'd be like, mm-mm-mm.
To be honest, I didn't ask to receive a physical copy of it. And I think the reason why I didn't ask for it was because of the Corona situation. And I
Mm,
didn't think that it would be a paper copy would be made. But I do have a digital copy, I guess you can say.
got you. Got you. So let's
Yeah.
talk about branding outside of social media. Have you thought about that? You know what I'm saying? And what have, because and when I say branding outside social media, I also mean like, okay, you've participated in the Camel Festival. Sorry, in the
Mhm.
Camel Pageant Festival. Now, and you know, as someone who's there, that you have to go for round two. Okay.
Mhm.
So, and you have to do things same of that level, and you have to do calculated, more strategic things. So, what is next in that area for you?
So what I started now, uh, interviews. So I'm, as I just mentioned to you, I'm about to launch a YouTube channel. It will be titled Joseph's Journey, or it's already titled Joseph's Journey. And what I've started doing is vlogs. So I have a camera crew, um, and fantastic individuals, amazing personalities, smart, sharp, and experienced. So we are creating shows, and the first show that we actually are, it's almost done. It's called Life Without Mama. For the past month, every weekend I've been traveling to Jeddah, conducting interviews, interviewing people who are aspiring mothers and children of all ages, asking them how would life be like without a mama, your mom,
Mm,
uh, and more specific questions than that. But that's the first vlog. The second vlog that I'm going to do is going to be titled in Arabic Jalsa Ma'a Shiban, sitting with the elders. And what I'm going to do is look for the eldest or oldest person from each region, from the south, north, east, and west. And I'm going to bring a 4-year old, an 8-year old, a 16-year old, and a 24-year old. And we're going to sit with this wise person and connect history with the present
mm,
and ask very meticulous questions about life, and
got
just
you.
try to connect history with the contemporary or modern day time that we live in now.
Got you. Got you. Now, um, excellent stuff. I love it. Love it. So, You've been in the kingdom, okay? You are working as an educator, okay? And then you're also doing these things, okay? And so now we're on the top of monetization and passive
Mm,
income, okay? Because I'm sure as an entrepreneur, you do have that side and you do have to make more than just a salary, but you have to make something passive and you're on the goal to making something passive and creating and impacting, okay? So let's talk monetization as back to the entrepreneur side of making money. Okay. Now you said you've been doing people do contact you to do advertisements on social media. Okay.
correct.
But what was the first one? What was the first time someone reached out to you and said, "Hey, I'd like you to do this"? And what was that like for you?
Uh, Man, to be honest, I don't remember the first one because it all kind of just came in all at once. There was a day where I did like 5 or 6 advertisements all in one day. And this was actually like my first time doing it. I'm just becoming familiar or familiarized with how to handle the iPhone on Snap or using Snapchat, and just trying to get familiar with shot angles, timing, filters, just an array of stuff. Um, so I'm still new. It's a learning experience, but I've developed over time, over the short time. If
Got
you
you.
were to see the first one and compare it with the one that I just did yesterday, you'd be like, man, you have a PhD in this or something?
Got you. Got you. So
Yeah,
who's reaching out and like how do you say like is this good for my brand or this is not good for my brand or right now are you like this is some good stuff to simple to stimulate the passive income or like how are you evaluating, are you saying have you said no to anybody that's contacted you so far or have you been like yes bismillah let's keep it going?
I've never said no because I need the experience. Uh,
That's a good diplomatic answer. I'm loving it. Definitely,
yes.
definitely.
Well, I've never. For now, I will not say no because I want the portfolio.
So people who are
Secondly,
interested in having him, he's not going to say no. You know what I'm saying? So reach out to the brother right
yes,
now. Reach out.
yes. Uh, Secondly, what was your second question?
Um, I forget, but I believe I was asking you in the range of yes. How how do you evaluate it to say is this good for my brand
Oh yeah,
or is
yeah,
this
yeah.
good for me?
Yes. And then you asked who are the brands
Yes.
or the
Yeah. Yeah.
organizations
So
or
far,
companies reaching out? Yeah, hotels, small and medium sized companies, businesses, institutions, organizations. Um, that's the best way I can put it.
got
And
you.
how do I know if this is right for me? Is because of what they ask me to do. So they're not asking me to be funny. They're asking me to professionally uh, promote their product or their business. So when it was the Ibis Hotel in Jeddah, I'm in a suit, tie, vest, and I created a professional uh, promotional ad campaign, and they loved it. Cafes, the same thing, um, but with different twists to it. And now I use friends and other people as prompts to also make it more interesting. So I'm not selfish with it. I invite either another famous person to do it with me, um, or a friend that is capable of being an amazing actor and personality that can really help sell the product or the business or the organization. And we just, what I would like to say, by the end of it, make it a big bang for that company or organization or
Got you.
restaurant.
Got you. Got you. Now, how do you, let's say, like, okay, now, of course, money is a factor. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what else, let's say for people who are listening right now, who are like, I want to get the Hassan brand on board. Besides a substantial amount of money, what else is needed, do you think, to make that collaboration work for you?
The key word, collaboration. That's what's needed. Uh, and people that are also willing to add value to me. So it's not just take from me, thank you very much, and that's it. But it's okay, Hassan, how can I help you? Thank you for helping me, but how can I help you? I want to help you too. That's the part that I kind of find missing. Not just the talk of, welcome, thank you, this is your place. No, no, like, look, Hassan, we know that you're just getting started, but you've taken off. You're not like in fourth place. You're like a tied runner in first place right now. We like what you're doing. We want you to be successful. We want you to get to be a gold medalist in Snapchat. We want you to have that gold star. Tell me what you need. Tell me what I can do to help you reach that because you're
Got you.
helping me. That's
Got
what I
you.
want.
Now, of course, we know that in the building of the brand of social media, there can be a burnout phase. There can be a regular, and they can be like a losing of interest, so to speak. Okay.
Yeah,
How do
true.
oh, sorry, well, what's your plan to keep getting better and to keep adding that excitement and keep those eyes on the prize?
Interesting what you just said. When I made my account public, uh, my I reached up to like hundreds of thousands of followers. All right. And then I see the numbers fluctuating. It goes up. And then I would also sometimes lose significantly. So I would talk to my social media strategist about that. Yeah. And they would say it's a good thing because you want to have people that like what you do and that could engage with you in a meaningful way, in a purposeful way. You don't just want to have people on your social media accounts, for example, on Instagram, just hating, writing hate comments. And all they doing is sitting there waiting for you to make a post so they can hate on it. It's better for you to have lower numbers, but higher engagement of positivity than high numbers and high engagement number of negativity.
Got you.
And
Let me,
also, it's better for, oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead. Continue. Continue. Continue.
Oh, the last part I was going to say is also better for you to be consistent in the types of posts that you make. So
Mm,
this is again, it's all a learning process, is being consistent, learning the right time to post and what to post at the same time.
got you. Do you delete comments? Do you block
On
people
Instagram,
on any
on
social
Instagram,
media platform? On any social media platform?
it depends. Sometimes, yes.
Okay. 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 Blocking
Um,
people too?
you have to.
Got you. Got you.
It depends. Some people
Got you.
that are like provocative, yes. Actually, on Snap, I haven't blocked anybody.
Okay.
There's been some people that said some crazy stuff, but I just reply back with kindness and I
Got
just
you.
leave it open. I give them
Got
a
you.
chance.
Got you. Got you. Got you. Now, okay. Again,
Mm.
from this era, from the press, everything, and dealing with your brand, what has been some of the dark sides of getting this press? Besides the negative comments on social media, has there been any other negatives that you've had to deal with and made adjustments to?
The biggest negative for me, honestly, was time management. Uh, I wasn't managing my time well. So it was a hard lesson for me. People don't know it, but it was a hard lesson for me that, I had to like, face my challenges and, learn how to manage my time. To be honest, that was the biggest challenge, just time management. You know,
Yes.
I'm in school,
Success.
dealing with the press, working at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
studying, friends,
Mm-hmm.
making time for family.
Mm-hmm.
It all
Success,
is in the
brother.
realm of time management.
Yes,
Like, my
I
mom is
know.
like, yo, it's been a week. You didn't say hi. What's
Mm,
going on? It's
mm,
time management.
mm, yes, yes. Success, brother. Success is, hey, success. Success. We see you. We see you.
Yeah.
And those who have not yet seen you, again, definitely look him up on social media. That's one way to look at him. Now we're going to leave the social media era in that situation. Now, but I do want to ask you a very important question. Okay, for someone like you who's
Mhm.
building your brand on these social media platforms, on real estate you don't own. Have you built your own website yet? And how have you been doing that to make sure that you're still, bringing real estate outside? I mean, bringing that traction to a place of real estate you own on the web.
So I have my own business called Master Me, and that was
Okay,
from before. So I have that. I bought my name, Hassan Joseph.com. So that's done. But the website is now in process of being built.
got you, got
So
you. Okay. Okay.
yeah.
But definitely shout out to your social media people. So I see the profile. I like the Instagram highlights profile. You got it. Definitely professional. But also, so let's come away from that. Let's talk about Master
See
Me.
about that, about the so again, I had the one of the on the positive side of all this, I had someone do that for me.
Yeah,
Volunteer. Look, Hassan, I want to turn you into a millionaire. So I'm going to volunteer my time, my effort, my energy, and I'm going to create your profile or redesign your profile, reinvigorate your profile. So that's what they did. Social media strategists.
right,
They
right. Shout out to them. You want to
yeah.
give a shout? You want to give a name shout out? Let them know. Give them some press.
Well, they prefer for me not to mention
Okay.
their names,
Okay.
but they know
Okay.
I'm talking about them. So
Okay.
I
Okay.
you
Okay.
know,
I'm
I
gonna let you
appreciate
live. I'm
them.
gonna let you live. I'm gonna let you live.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about Master Me. That's your company. Let's talk about Master Me. That's one of your companies. Okay, besides the Camel
Hmm.
situation, we see you entrepreneur. So let's talk Master Me. Okay, and then from Master Me, we'll dive into another segment because we've been here for a while. I don't want to put you
Mm.
too much on Front Street,
No,
but
it's all right.
definitely we are loving the value. So let's talk Master Me.
All right, Master Me. We are a education professional service provider company and a sports consultancy uh, service provider company. Our main focus is the Middle East and specifically Saudi Arabia because I live here. And in 2015, when I moved here, um, and I learned that there was a Vision 2030 that was just about to come out before it publicly came out. I immediately engaged in research. I researched the educational challenges facing the Saudi community from children in starting kindergarten, KG, all the way up to the university level. And then I analyzed the gap between people who graduate from college and enter into the professional field or their professional field of endeavors and how long it takes them to get a job.
Mm,
Um, and at that time in 2015, the statistics obviously, weren't the, happy faces that the kingdom was happy about. A lot of women were unemployed, had one of the highest unemployment rates, and but they had the highest graduation rate. I don't know if you know that or not. 69%, in fact, of all university students were women back in 2015. 69%. That's a lot. So they were graduating, but they were struggling with looking for jobs. So the crown prince, he's seen that, like, man, we have to do something about that. So that's why you see that in the vision. Um, and women obviously are happy, flabbergasted about that. And now you see them in top level positions. And not only that, you see them in top level positions, they're driving impact. They're bringing businesses from, like, if they were like at level 5, they're now at level 10, expanding businesses.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So his vision on that part, you can see the fruit of it now in just 5 years. You can see the fruit of it now. Princess Rima was another one. And actually, my company, Master Me, and my team, we've been humbled and privileged to meet her in DC at her office. Special invitation. And we presented our idea to her about how we could reinvigorate the entire sports curricula in Saudi Arabia for high schoolers, and at the college level. And she loved the idea and she took it on board. As we just started discussing, trying to come up with the, solutions, COVID-19 happened, and that just brought everything to a halt. We collaborated with a lot of royalty people, or people from the royal family. We collaborated with the Ministry of Education. We presented platforms for their Mohiba department, which in English is the Gifted and Talented Department. My company, Master Me, collaborated with California State University of Los Angeles, SpaceX, professors from Harvard University, from from University of Missouri, experts. We collaborated with the National Junior NBA Coach of the Year, Coach Cash Cannon, who now is a coach for the Boston Celtics, and Senior Health Coordinator or something like that. Also, Coach Eric Beckler, who is a distinguished and coach, an associate with the Minnesota Timberwolves and Minnesota Lynx, the female team. We have Robert Colangelo, Professor Robert Colangelo, adjunct professor, Harvard, teaches Harvard Law School students intermittently. So we have a strong team here in Saudi Arabia. Lama Al Fawzan, who was notably one of the first female Saudi Olympic participants to enter and compete internationally. We
Basically, Master Me is on,
networked
Master Me is on, is taking the
with
rocket
masters.
flying. Indeed.
Yeah, we have a strong team, and we presented some powerful platforms. We tried to bring the NBA to Saudi Arabia. We tried to introduce the NBA to Saudi Arabia. And we're still, working on it, but it's challenging because COVID-19.
Got you. Let's take a quick commercial break, okay? And we'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back from the commercial break. So now we talked about being in COVID-19 situation. So let us talk about, what I'm saying, what's the right word? Let's talk about how have you been able to, swim in this COVID-19 situation as an entrepreneur, as
Best time
someone.
of my life.
Okay, talk that
Best time of
definitely.
my life.
Talk that talk. Talk that
See,
talk.
it was scary at first with the lockdown, because now I started to wonder within myself. I have ample amount of time on my hand. What do I do? I live here alone, single, no parents, no siblings, no family, but I see everybody else with their families. So what do I do? I mothered myself. I took care of myself. I spoiled myself. I made a routine for myself. I took advantage of time like I have never in my life taken advantage of time. I took advantage of my prayers like I have never taken advantage of my prayers. Brother, sleeping was like, again, the last thing on my mind. I slept, but I didn't sleep long. I didn't look forward to sleeping. I looked forward to staying awake and being active. So my day, my routine was, um, and I'll talk about before Ramadan to Ramadan and after Ramadan. Before Ramadan, I was bike riding 6 a.m. between 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. in my neighborhood. I would make a nice, delicious breakfast for myself. And again, when I cooked either breakfast, lunch, or dinner, uh, like I really cooked. I took my time. I would garnish the plate, you know, like I was making a 5-star breakfast, 5-star lunch, 5-star dinner for myself. I would go all out. I took my time making coffee, making the best kind of coffee, making the best kind of omelet. I learned how to cook. I would like I practiced. So I would enjoy what I'm eating. I would enjoy what I'm looking at. I would use the finest, nicest plates I could find in the house. Set up the table real nice. This is what I mean by spoiling myself.
Mm.
And see, when you do that, it takes up time also. So, you could go in the kitchen and whip up an omelet in like 2 minutes, sit down, put on a plate, eat it, and be done within like 5, 10 minutes. But it would actually take me an hour and a half, 2 hours sometimes just to do something like that. So I would take my sweet time. I appreciated the moment, the time I was living through the moment.
Got you.
There's no rush. There's no rush.
Got you.
So
Got you.
after that, I took courses online. The first time before I got into Harvard, I started taking classes at Harvard. I took 2 classes online,
Mm.
business courses. I took a creative writing course, also a persuasive speaking course. So I took advantage of time to learn, polish, to become more, to educate myself in other areas that I never
Absolutely.
had time to do things in.
Absolutely. 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 I
And I
love it.
watched meaningful documentaries and programs on Netflix. I
Yes.
wasn't just watching like movies like, The Last Dance when that came out with Michael Jordan. Oh man, I
Mm.
was watching that. Who Killed Malcolm? Stuff like that.
Mm. Mm. Have you seen the new movie Jodas and
Educational program.
Messiah?
Not yet,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
not yet,
You
but
will.
I'll
You will.
watch it.
You will. You will. Deep movie. Deep movie. So now we're almost there. Now everything so far, we've loved the value you've given us. Okay. Now let's talk about 2030 vision for you as an
Hmm.
entrepreneur in Saudi Arabia and trying to make sure you yourself and your aspirations and businesses and those around you fall in line with that vision and help make that vision a reality. How has that been? And where do you see yourself alongside that? Because that's an important segment.
To answer your question from the last part, I feel like I am a part of the vision. I feel like I'm a part of the vision because of the value that I'm adding to the kingdom as an educator first. Uh, there's a new part of the vision called, well, it's not called, but where they want to create job opportunities for Saudis who don't have the or who don't have certain qualifications that are needed in areas like, for example, in health, right? Because health, you need some specific type of qualifications to engage in certain things. So they created a new thing called the OSHA program, Occupational Health Safety Administrators or Administration. So now I'm teaching occupational health and safety administrators English as a second language, and I'm training them as well.
Got you.
So this is a new job created to help people in the health sector. Uh, and this position that was created, every 3 to 4 months, they bring in a wave of, I think, 5,000.
Mm, okay. Big stuff. Big
Yeah,
stuff. Big stuff.
yeah.
Big-
Every 3 to 5 months, I think, like about approximately 5,000.
Got you. And
So this is huge. Yeah.
mm, mm. What would you say to new American investors that see you and that are inspired by you and want to come and make a big splash like you did in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia?
First of all, when you come to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, don't have an ethnocentric mindset because that'll throw you off. Ethnocentrism meaning don't come here to be critical or criticize. You can go to any country and criticize, but come here to learn to appreciate and to add value. The same way you would want when someone comes to your country to add value and appreciate you. Or, for example, if I'm coming to your house, I shouldn't come and look at your house, look at the foundation of your house. I should come in, man, thank you. I should come to appreciate you. What can I do to add value to your life? So when you come to Saudi Arabia, come with the mindset of what can I do to add value to the kingdom? Because naturally, the question back is, what can I do to add value back to you,
Absolutely.
wherever you
Absolutely.
come from?
Absolutely.
So that's the message that I would like to say.
Okay. Now let's talk about some books that you read that you'd recommend. Okay, for our listeners around the world, what books would you recommend?
Favorite book by Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. This book teaches you how to be social and how not to be selfish and how not to think selfishly. How to be a critical thinker also. How to win friends intellectually. One of my favorite parts or quotes in the book was when he was talking about a story when he was fishing or when he went fishing. He said, I'm fond of strawberries and cream, but I realized when I went fishing, fishes don't like strawberries and cream. I put strawberries and cream on the hook, threw it out into the pond, and I didn't get the fish. However, when I put the worm on the hook of the rod, threw that out, I got the fish. So the fish got what it wanted, which was the worm, and I got what I wanted, which was the fish. So basically, create a win-win situation. Give the people, give the person what they want so you could get what you want. Try to create a mutual win-win. That's what he
Absolutely.
means by winning friends and influencing people.
Absolutely. Any other books?
The autobiography of Malcolm X. I love history. Other books. Um, I'm overwhelmed with books, man, because
Got you.
my I'm doing my master's, so I'm reading a lot of books. Um, so I don't have any other favorite books, but I'm reading a lot of books because of my master's program.
Got you. Got you. So far, man, we love it. We love it. We touched base on so much stuff, man. So much stuff. quickly before we go, and I do want to ask you one more thing in regards to social media. Let's talk about Clubhouse. Have you made a profile on Clubhouse?
I've made a profile on Clubhouse. I enjoy using Clubhouse. Clubhouse is fun,
Mm,
insightful, educational, and empowering if you know how to use it.
absolutely. Ah, that brings me to another question. Uh, in your situation in this digital age, have you made any digital products, such as an ebook? Are you going into that arena of making digital products or things of that nature?
In the future, I endeavor to, but I support people that have products. I
Got
support
you.
them and I'll
Got
promote
you.
them.
Got you. I do want to say before we do, since you are in Saudi Arabia, I do want to give a shout out to, I think, MW Cafe.
Yes, MW Cafe with brother
Yes.
Napoleon Muta. Mashallah, man, great guy.
Got you. Give me 1 second. Quick commercial break. All right, back from our commercial break, ladies and gentlemen. So, Mr. Hassan, we spoke on so much stuff, like just wow, and you gave us some stories of before the camel situation, and it's just wow. So, before we get out of here, tell us, what are some of your next moves? You told us about Master Me. You have some TV shows coming to YouTube, and where can the listeners that are around the world, you know what I'm saying, and who are an influencer on the run like yourself, where can they find you? What's next? And give us some words.
You can find me here in Riyadh. You can find me in Jeddah. You can find me anywhere because I'm in your heart. I'm in your mind in a positive way. You can find me wherever you want to find me if you're looking for goodness because I'm in for world peace in a very diplomatic way. Now, on the real side of it, I'm on Snapchat. I post daily uh, what I'm up to, what I'm doing, where I'm at, who I'm with. Um, so you can follow me on Snap. Usually I post on after my posts on Snap, I post on Instagram. Um, my next moves, interviews. I'm trying to set up an apparatus like Oprah Winfrey, but I'm trying to be like the of Hassan here in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. That's what I'm trying to set up.
Got you.
These are
Got
the
you.
moves that I'm making.
Got you. Got you. I love it. So for those who are listening, I'm gonna let you guys know. Definitely follow him on the Snapchat at Hassan HASSANMYUSUF. That's also on Instagram as well. Okay, hit him up, send him up some DMs, let him know you heard him on Influencers on the Run. I just want to thank you, Mr. Hassan, for coming to share your story. Okay. And we want you to make sure that you're going out there again so that when you come up here for volume 2, you have more to share with us, more value to give us, more accolades to be like, yo, this is what we did. We want to hear about those more risk. Okay. And then, we just want to hear so much more, and on your journey of being an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, and an international personality, and we just want to hear more. And we don't just wish for you a good journey. We're going to be right there beside you, making sure you're on your journey, pushing you out the car every now and then, but coming back to pick you up, you know what I'm saying? And to fill up, what I'm saying, your spaceship with that good benzene and all that good stuff. So we definitely want to thank you very much on
Oh
the
man, thank
influences on
you
the
very
run.
much for the opportunity to interview with you. It's been a pleasurable experience. I look forward to catching up with you again. meeting you again, uh, listening to your poems, your songs, very
Mhm.
inspirational. Um, so yeah, man, thank you very much.
Definitely. Thank you for coming on Influence on the Run. Influence on the Run is great to have you guys, and we love giving you guys this stuff. Definitely make sure you guys are leaving comments on whatever platform you listen to this show on, whether it be um, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Rami, wherever you are in the world. If you are listening, if you're hearing us on YouTube, let us know in the comments section. Definitely support us on Patreon. Uh, Links are in the bio, all that good stuff. Follow us on Instagram. We need that support to keep getting you these great influencers on the run. Thank you guys and have a wonderful day.